Esta es una historia de fe, una historia de una necesidad colectiva para superar el deseo individual.
It's a story of extraordinary courage, coming out of unexpected places. Places like the mine, where a group of 33 Chilean miners were trapped for 69 days. It's a story covered from day one by Jonathan Franklin, an award-winning journalist who was the only writer to interview the miners while they were underground.
Dime cómo un drama de esta amplitud cambia a la gente.
And what happens when ordinary individuals are faced with exceptional circumstances.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jonathan Franklin.
Mesdames et messieurs, merci d'accueillir Jonathan Franklin. Señoras y señores, por favor, denle la bienvenida a Jonathan Franklin.
Thank you. For the past month, I've been obsessed again with the Chilean miners. I keep coming back to the dimensions of this, the scale of this entire operation, because if you think about it, it's really about the numbers at first. It's 33 men who are trapped some 700 meters underground. For these guys, just to get to work, it's an hour-long commute underground. And when they get there, it's 95 degrees. The humidity is 100%. If you stay down there for more than a shift, your skin starts to bubble up. It looks like you've been attacked by thousands of mosquitoes. You get funguses on your skin. These 33 men, they're trapped in a shelter that's just 540 square feet. And this isn't just a cave-in. An entire slab of the mountain has collapsed. It weighs 700,000 tons, and when it hits, this whole thing weighed twice the weight of the Empire State Building, or 14 times the Titanic. They're not just trapped in there, they're sealed inside the mountain. And for 17 days, it's silence. They don't know. Does the world look for them? Are they going to die down there alone? Now, raise your hand if you didn't watch this, if you didn't really pay too much attention during 5 years ago when this happened. Anybody not pay attention to this? All right, now raise your hand if you did pay attention to the Chilean miners. It's like that around the world. This was one of the most watched events in human history. 1.3 billion people tuned into this. And why? Because it was an example of teamwork, of courage. It was a mission impossible come true. As a reporter, I wanted to cover it. So like 2,000 other reporters, I went up the mountain and I started interviewing. But I was the only one to get behind the scenes. 1,999 of these reporters got locked behind the police gates. But I got inside. I'll tell you a little bit how I did it. I've lived in Chile for 20 years, and I know that sometimes you knock on the front door, and sometimes you go around back and you knock on the back door. So in this case, the back door was the Chilean health insurance company. Under Chilean law, they have all sorts of legal responsibilities. And I went to them and I said, this is a world-class event. I want to cover this. And they said, you do? I said, of course. So they gave me this, which is a rescue pass. This was my golden ticket. Now I could go up the hill and I could interview the psychologists. I could interview the mining engineers. I could even had a telephone at one point. I could pick it up and I could dial, I think it was *8. I could talk to the miners while they were still underground. As a result of this, I was able to get incredible stories. I was getting too many front-page stories for the Washington Post, for the Guardian, I think the Sydney Morning Herald as well. So the government said, this isn't fair. They threw me out. The health insurance company said, wait, we're in charge. They brought me back in. The government threw me out again. So the health insurance company said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put you in an ambulance. So I laid down in the back of an ambulance, and they covered me in a blanket, and they snuck me up to the top of the hill. It was great because the government censors were either too tired or too lazy to walk up there. So I was all alone at the communications center. But there was policemen everywhere. Fortunately, nobody had thought to feed the police. They were starving. So I began to give them oranges. And the more oranges I gave the police, the more they loved me. By the second day, they were calling me El Gringo con las Naranjas, the gringo with the oranges. And I was there for weeks on end, and what I saw was just this world-class operation. You had a team above ground, you had a team below ground, and it was a mission impossible come true. But what most of you saw, this moment when the miners pop out and we all applauded, that was just the final scene. There is so much more and some very important lessons that most of you probably didn't see. So let's start above ground. Chilean President Sebastián Piñera had just come into power. He wasn't very popular, he was sinking in the polls, but he did something remarkable. Sebastián Piñera went up to the mountain, he flew, I think it was to Calama, which is a Chilean city on the edge of the Atacama Desert. And what does he say? He tells his aides, "I'm going to rescue the miners." And they all said, "But Mr. President, mining accidents equals dead miners equals bad PR. Stay away." Or they said, "These things never end well." Piñera, "I'm going up there." He went up the hill and he started interviewing. He would interview with the engineers, the low-level miners, the top rescue leaders, and he said, "Okay, what's the plan?" And they said, "There is no plan." Piñera kept on asking, and finally he realized nobody had any idea how you get miners out from 700 meters underground. So he did something remarkable. He took off his hat as president, he took off his hat as politician, and he put on the hat of an entrepreneur. Piñera is a self-made billionaire. He's a very resourceful guy. And he said, "You know what we're going to do? We are going to fund 3 separate proposals, Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C." He put up $20 million. He brought together all sorts of the world's best miners and engineers. And he didn't know which one was going to work. He accepted that failure was part of the plan. It didn't matter if Plan A worked. It didn't matter if Plan B worked. He was so confident that he could design the overall architecture of the plan and that the other ones could figure out some of the details. He knew that he was going to fail, but that failure wasn't going to stop him. And then Piñera did something else very remarkable. Sebastián Piñera said, "Help! I have no idea what I'm doing." I mean, how often does a president say that? And what Piñera did is he sent out a global SOS to the mining community. He said, "We have these guys, there's 33 of them, they're stuck underground. What would you do?" And the response was overwhelming. From Japan, they sent a kilometer of this fiber optic cable that you could bend and twist, and it would never break. From Virginia, they had these vests, you could zip them up, and it would measure all your pulse, your breathing, all your vital signs. And in Pennsylvania, a mining engineer was watching the early news coverage with his wife. And he said to his wife, when he heard, I think they announced, it will be 5 months until they're rescued. 5 months, he said to his wife, I can get them out faster than that. He bought his own ticket to Chile. He flew down there and started custom designing drill bits. Then United Parcel Service started flying these drill bits from Pennsylvania to Chile for free. They flew 65,000 pounds of equipment down to Chile. And I think the lesson here for me as I watch this all going on was that this is just remarkable. You have a president who says, I'm going to fail, but I'm going to keep going. You have a president who says, I don't know, help me. And he infected the entire team with enthusiasm. Everybody was working 24/7. There was days I didn't sleep. These same boots that I have on here, I wore those for 8 days without taking them off. His enthusiasm infected us all. And if there's one thing I learned from this mining rescue above ground, it's this kind of leadership is contagious. Everybody was chipping in. But that was above ground. Below ground, things were a lot more dramatic. The 33 miners were all huddled in this little tiny shelter, and they had just survived the cave-in, which was that 700,000 slab of rock that comes bashing down. When that happens, it causes what the miners call a piston effect, which is a kind of a hurricane of dirt and rocks go flying through the tunnels, and it splattered the miners in all directions. At first, they had to scrape the dirt out of their eyes, scrape the dirt out of their mouth just to get their bearings. One of the miners was thrown so hard that Victor Zamora went this way, and his fake teeth bounced out and went that way. He never found his teeth. And as the miners were in that little shelter, they would hear strange sounds in the tunnels. Sometimes it would be cave-ins, sometimes it would be avalanches, and they would also hear things that sounded like they were alive. And they would try and calm themselves, saying, "Don't worry, it's just Victor's teeth." They're looking for him. Some of the men couldn't hear anything because their eardrums had exploded when that whole pressure came through. These men then did something that was remarkable. They opened up their one cooler of food to see, what do we have to eat? Strawberry-flavored milk. 17 liters of strawberry-flavored milk. They also had banana-flavored milk. Maybe 20 cans of tuna fish and a few boxes of crackers. There's 33 men here, and they have enough food for maybe 2 meals. And they instantly realize that the only way they're going to make this is if they're a team. If one guy starts to raid the food supply, they're all going to die. So they started to ration their food. They decided they're going to eat 1 can of tuna fish a day. So they divide it in 33 portions, and they take the broth, which isn't a whole lot, from a single can of tuna fish. They make a little soup, and all 33 of them in that shelter, they sit there in the circle, and at the same time, they drink that one little meal. That's all they had to eat. And by day 15, these men are starving to death in bed. Some of them can't even get up. And it's not actually a bed, it's actually a piece of muddy cardboard on the floor of the mine. But they're also starting to discover hidden talents among their team. One of the miners is a cartographer, and what he's done, he starts to draw maps of the entire mine so they can figure out where they are. Another one is an electrician, and he starts to rig up lights so that they can actually get out of this terrible darkness and have a bit of sanity. Another one's a preacher, and what he does is start holding daily religious services so that the men can be united in faith. They made one of the men an archivist. He starts writing down everything that happens. And another one, this being Chile, was designated the official poet. Another of the miners was a dreamer. His name was Johnny Barrios. He had always wanted to be a doctor. And in his free time, Johnny would read medical textbooks. I mean, what's the chance of a Chilean miner in his hammock reading Gray's Anatomy, But he did, over and over again. And in his neighborhood, he was the one that could give you injections. He was, a medical assistant. And underground, he is suddenly a very important team member. He's the one that can look at that scratch on your arm and he can tell you, no, it's okay, or that could be gangrene, you might lose your arm. He was the one that when you were rotting, he could help you peel off your skin. Johnny Barrios was one of the most valued team members, but only in this most drastic circumstances. Another miner, Samuel Avalos, became a leader underground, and Sam wasn't even a miner. He was known as Sam CD because his job was riding his bike around the Chilean city of Rancagua, selling pirated copies of CDs. Not exactly a booming business these days. What does Sam do? He moves up to the mine and gets a job there because it pays much better, and it's the only mine where you don't have to be a miner. All you have to do is be willing enough to go down that hole. And Sam Avalos, underground, he's the one that's able to protect some of the men when they start thinking about suicide. When some of the men are so scared and so terrified, this former CD salesman is the one that holds them tight, and he tells them, we're going to make it, we're going to make it. On day 16, the men are starting to lose it even more. They're starting to talk about cannibalism. If somebody dies, they all know what's going to happen. But fortunately, on day 17, this drill bit rips through the roof of the mine, and this world above of Sebastian Peñera and this world of the miners down below, they're united. Suddenly, there's a chance. There's a small chance they might make it out. The team above instantly realizes that if they don't keep the team unity, they're all doomed. They've got to figure out a way to keep this team together. So they start interviewing the different miners. First thing they need, a doctor. And when they get to Johnny Barrios, they ask him, Johnny, have you ever pulled a tooth? And he thinks about it and said, yeah, I pulled out some of my own. They look at each other, and one of them says, I think we found our doctor. Now Johnny Barrios is receiving medical training. He's got real doctors, and above ground, they're actually teaching him how to pull out a tooth. And if somebody needs an emergency appendectomy, Johnny Barrios is now lead surgeon. The men above also need somebody who can be their eyes, their ears underground. So they go to Sam Avalos because he's got a clear head and a steady hand. He's going to film everything for them, and they send the videos up. Sam Avalos is going to be the one who will keep them attuned of what is going on down below. And I think the lessons here for me as I watch this from above and talk to the guys on the phone is, never underestimate your own team. You never know when you might have the solution. It might be a cubicle over, it might be the other side of a mine where you're trapped. But these skills surged up, and it was obviously the most drastic of circumstances to cause this. But even in your own work, in your own life, the solution may be closer than you think. So never, ever underestimate what your teammates are capable of. Sam Avalos is somebody I've gotten to know over the past years. He's a remarkable leader. He's a remarkable person, the most positive person I know. And he's always been known to me as, miner number 22. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce a special guest for us tonight, miner number 22, Samuel Avalos.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage one of the 33 miners, Samuel Avalos.
Merci d'accueillir sur scène un des 33 mineurs, Samuel Avalos. Por favor, denle la bienvenida a uno de los 33 mineros, Samuel Avalos.
Now, you might want to put on your headsets because I'll be interviewing Sam in Spanish, and if you speak Spanish, no, but for the rest of us.
Hola,
Gracias, Samuel.
¿cómo estás?
Muy bien. Si no puedes explicar, well, we'll give everybody a minute to put on their headsets, so take your time. So,
Ok.
van a poner su... The first question, Samuel, la primera pregunta es, ¿cómo ayudaste a la gente a no matarse? ¿Cómo es que evitaste que se suicidaran allá abajo?
Bueno, en primer momento, cuando ocurre este evento, la gente no sabe acá, pero en la mina San José hay un precipicio. Hay un precipicio. Entonces, ocurrió el evento, el grupo, algunos del grupo, intentaron suicidarse. Entonces yo corrí inmediatamente como líder a tomarlo, a agarrar a esta persona para que no lo hiciera. Porque tiene su familia, hay gente que lo quiere. Y no. Evité que no se suicidaran. Especialmente eso, que no se suiciden.
¿Y de dónde nació esa fuerza tuyo? Porque, como has dicho, no eres minero, no eres tan parte del grupo. ¿De dónde nació esa capacidad de de ser más fuerte que el promedio?
Mira, como tú lo comentaste anteriormente, yo trabajé mucho en la calle, entonces cuando tú trabajas en la calle, te haces duro, te haces fuerte, te combates constantemente por ejemplo, en invierno la lluvia, es decir, no tienes protección, ¿me entiendes? Entonces, ¿qué es lo que eso te ayuda mucho a endurecerte tanto como por fuera como por dentro? Y este es el caso que Interior Mina afloró esa dureza interior que yo tengo como para poder proyectarla y contagiar a mis demás compañeros para poder darles la fuerza necesaria para que no se entregaran.
Y una pregunta que me hace mucho a mí es, ¿cómo se aguanta 2 semanas sin comer? ¿Qué se siente cuando no come por 2 semanas?
Bueno, físicamente tú empiezas a mirarte tu propio cuerpo y te das cuenta como tu estómago se empieza a juntar con tu espalda. Y es muy entretenido por lo demás. Te empieza a juntar con la espalda. Y lo otro, para que más o menos como que alguien se dé cuenta como que te toman el brazo, te lo apretan, son los dolores intensos de estómago, muy fuertes. Y psicológicamente solo piensas en comida, en poroto, lentejas, cazuela, empanadas. Piensas en comida. Eso es lo que te pasa. Y además lo que escuché yo después era que tu cerebro, al pensar en comida, tu cerebro libera endorfinas que te hacen saciarte. O sea, más que nada eso.
Había un momento en que uno de los líderes de los 33, Mario Sepúlveda, colapsó de estrés, de tanto estrés de ser líder.
Sí.
Tú ayudaste a recuperarlo. Cuéntanos cómo era capaz de ayudar a unir el grupo en liderazgo.
Mira, Mario, llegó un momento que se entregó, o sea, se colapsó. Pero como estábamos trabajando en conjunto, lo que yo hice fue dejarlo un rato que el hombre se recuperara en el piso de la mina, no molestarlo inmediatamente, sino que esperar que el hombre se recuperara. Después de 3 horas, yo ya ahí conversé con él, no inmediatamente, porque inmediatamente ya estaba presionado, estaba estresado, con niveles de estrés muy altos. Entonces yo esperé que superara 3 horas y ahí recién conversé con él. Y lo pusimos en acuerdo para que no abandonáramos el grupo, porque teníamos que trabajar en conjunto, éramos un trabajo en equipo, porque de nosotros dependían 31 personas más. Entonces, esa comunicación, alentarlo con fuerza y mutuamente, una alentación mutua, ayudarnos.
Otra cosa que me llama la atención de tu cuento es que ustedes hicieron servicios religiosos, pero eran varias religiones abajo. ¿Cómo estaban unidos en su fe?
Mira, habían grupos de católicos, evangélicos y creyentes. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que pasa? Que por razones obvias se van a poner a discutir. Y en ese caso el líder tiene que impedir que no se pongan a pelear, porque una pelea verbal puede ser, pero hay que evitarla. Porque de la pelea verbal tú pasas a la pelea física. Y una pelea física en esas condiciones que estábamos nosotros, a 40 grados de calor y 100 de humedad, es muy complicado, porque de la pelea verbal a la física, entonces queda un ganador y un perdedor. Entonces, el que pierde, a la primera que se dé la espalda al ganador, el perdedor se le va a tirar y le va a pegarle. Entonces hay que evitar eso. Eso.
En el día 15, ustedes estaban esperando una broca un taladro estaba acercando. En vez de achuntar con tu túnel, pasó de largo. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Cómo se sintieron y recuperaron de ese desafío de estar a punto de ser rescatado y después no resultó?
Mira, ahí lo que pasó fue que igual estábamos todos los 33 muy esperanzados en que llegara ese sondaje, y lo empezamos a escuchar. Es como que tú sientas un golpear en una mesa, un clavo en una mesa, golpeando. Se va acercando y de repente y se va. Se fue por la caja del cerro. Entonces el grupo, al ver eso que se fue el sondaje, empezaron a entrar en crisis, en pánico, o sea, porque era como la única esperanza, era la vida lo que estaba ahí. Entonces se está yendo por la caja. Por la caja del cerro es como la pared de tu casa, para que la gente entienda. Entonces se fue y empezaron mucho a hacer crisis, se desorganizó el grupo. Entonces lo primero que se hace es reunir al grupo y conversarle que los ingenieros que están trabajando arriba no es solamente un sondaje que van a tirar muchos sondajes más. Entonces no hay que perder la esperanza, que no bajen los brazos.
Mucha gente que miraba por televisión vio que ustedes subieron en una cápsula.
Sí.
Explica un poco cuánto duró y cuál es la experiencia de estar dentro. Parece una cohete espacial.
Bueno, la cápsula, habían algunos compañeros que están independientes, o sea, habían excepciones, porque las personas que los trataron a los otros antes de subir a la cápsula, a donde los tiraron comida, o sea, los bajaron comida interior mina, tuvieron que algunos se engordaron un poquito más de lo normal. Entonces los pusieron a hacer ejercicio para que bajaran de peso, para que cayeran en la cápsula, porque algunos son 70 centímetros de diámetro, entonces tú te darás cuenta que había un señor que estaba un poquito fuera de los 70 centímetros, entonces había que hacerlo hacer ejercicio para que el hombre cayera. Y la sensación que tuviste es, bueno, vas subiendo en la cápsula y te le viene un mundo. O sea, tú dices, voy a volver a la vida. Es como volver a nacer. Son sensaciones de reencontrarte con tu familia, ver nuevamente los árboles, el cielo, cosas tan simples que a veces en la agitada vida que nosotros llevamos no los damos el tiempo de mirar. Por ejemplo, el cielo es gratis, no te lo cobran. Tú puedes mirarlo las veces que quieras. Esa es la sensación que se produce al ir subiendo en la cápsula. Y después tú cuando llegas al final, cruzas un horizonte de oscuridad y llegas a la luz del día. Hermosa la vida, preciosa.
Thank you, Samuel.
Okay.
Now we're going to take some questions from the audience. I think we've all done this little drill a bit, so.
So maybe it's not so much a question or as a comment, but I was fortunate to be working at Precision Drilling 5 years ago in my company, watching the engineers behind the scenes rig up, I believe the Precision Drilling, which is a Canadian rig. I want everybody to know that Canada was part of the rescue, and a Precision Drilling rig was refitted and mobilized to the site. And I was marveling at the engineers who were refabricating to come up with a 28-inch hole to come down and rescue the miners. I believe the Precision rig was, I think it was Plan B or Plan C. So just proud to be part of that, and so nice to see you here today.
Thank you. Just a comment on that. I believe it was 34 different nations that contributed to this. It was like the all-star team of global mining that came together there.
Thank you very much for your comments today. I'm curious the lessons that have been taken from this that have perhaps positively influenced mine safety in Chile and in other countries where mining occurs.
I got this. That's a great question, and I was giving this talk last week in Chile, and what I was told is that this protocol, for example, in South Africa and other nations, this is the gold standard. They've used this to prepare for all sorts of mining accidents. And from this tragedy, in which fortunately nobody died, it was a real wake-up call to the global mining community, which I have to say in Chile, most of the mines are exceptionally well-run and modern. This was a notoriously poorly run mine. But from the protocol of saving these 33, you've set a kind of a gold standard. And just last week, a South African came up to me and said, in South Africa, we've used this to redo all our safety protocols.
Got it. I believe you indicated there was about 2 weeks of non-contact with the miners. What kept the rescuers going? After 2 weeks, how did they continue with hope?
What kept the rescuers going, I believe, was this enthusiasm from President Piñera. He was unwilling to give up. He was so sure that it was going to happen. There was a time where it was estimated it was just a 2% chance the miners were alive. And a lot of people would have given up. A lot of people would have said, we can't do it. But there was that, and there was the family members of the miners had swarmed up to the top of the mine and basically laid down tents and said, we're not leaving until you get our family out. And early on, it would be, you know, the most correct answer to your question is that it was a combination of Piñera, but also the family members. They put a very strong moral pressure on the government to say, we are not leaving. You are going to get our boys out.
Samuel. Samuel.
Hola.
Un gusto tenerte acá.
Gracias.
Felicitaciones. La verdad es que todos lo vivimos con mucha emoción. Y quisiera preguntarte, después de volver a la vida, de reencontrarte con tu familia, tus amigos, ¿qué conclusiones sacas de estas situaciones que para ustedes los obligaron a sacar un coraje tremendo, una valentía tremenda para sobrevivir, confiar en la gente que estaba en la superficie? Nosotros que estamos no en esas circunstancias, ¿cómo podemos sacar esa valentía y hacer cosas realmente extraordinarias? ¿Qué consejo tiene para nosotros?
Mira, el consejo que les puedo darle que es bien simple lo que te voy a decir, pero disfrutar día a día tu familia, tu gente, disfrutar de tu empresa, de tu trabajo, porque en este caso uno nunca sabe cuando ya el gran jefe que está arriba, como se dice, finish. O sea, vive hoy, disfruta hoy, today. Eso es, fuerza.
Samuel.
¿Dónde?
Samuel, acá atrás tuyo.
Oh, perdón.
Sí. Hola, Pablo Herrera, gusto de saludarte.
Hola.
Yo creo que sería importante para mucha de la gente que está acá, que no son el grupo de los chilenos, un poco contar cómo somos los chilenos y contar un poco que de seguro cuando estamos en situaciones complicadas nunca nos falta la sonrisa, nunca falta la broma y siempre enfrentamos las situaciones difíciles que nuestro país tiene, terremotos, tsunamis, y nos unimos como país, pero nunca nos falta esa risa, no nos falta ese abrazo, aún en los momentos más difíciles. Quizás es importante que nuestros compañeros acá escuchen un poco de cómo somos los chilenos.
Ok. Bueno, los chilenos, como decía aquí el compatriota, somos muy entretenidos, independientemente de que, como dijo él, tsunami, catástrofe, la hemos vivido todas. O sea, Chile está al sur del mundo, un país que realmente, como dijo él, es un país sísmico, y más encima lo sacamos el premio porque ahí están todas las placas tectónicas. Entonces, pero a pesar de las catástrofes tan grandes que hemos tenido y como la que vivimos nosotros como mineros también, siempre hemos sacado esa fuerza interior. Somos un país de lucha, somos un país guerrero. Y para los compatriotas, que yo lo que les estoy diciendo, ellos más que nada saben que lo bueno del tema de nosotros también, que fue que nosotros éramos puros obreros. O sea, eso a mí también me da como la relevancia de decirlo. Puro obrero, fuimos 33 mineros que supimos trabajar en un equipo que fue demostrado a nivel mundialmente. Y lo más que me hace sentir orgulloso de esto es que somos un grupo de trabajo chileno, como dice el compatriota, que damos un ejemplo a todos los demás países del mundo, de un trabajo en equipo espectacular. Ese es un chileno, que no se entrega ante nada.
Hola, Samuel.
Hola.
Thank you very much for this fantastic presentation. I'm here.
Hola.
Hola. It's the limits of my Spanish. Gracias. I wonder, it's an amazing story of team building, accidental team building. You didn't wake up that morning with the goal to create this team, but the events forced you to do it. After the success of coming out of the mine, can you tell us a little bit, after the many years now that have gone by, the 5 years since the incident, is the team still together? Is the group still together? Do you still meet as a group? And how have the years that have passed since you went through this experience in the mine transformed you outside of the mine?
Ok, son dos cosas. Uno, que ustedes no eran un equipo como preformado, se formaron debajo de la tierra. ¿Y cuál son la relación del equipo hoy en día? Y segundo, cómo tú mismo has transformado después de esa experiencia. Primero, como la relación del grupo hoy en día.
Mira, aunque tú no lo creas, el grupo en primera instancia no los conocíamos. Mira qué increíble, no los conocíamos. Entonces, como estaban los trabajadores de la compañía y además los colaboradores o los contratistas, empezamos cuando ocurre este evento, la presentación, además el respeto, mucho respeto entre nosotros, también el aporte de ideas, que era lo más relevante. Claro que había ideas que mejor no tomarlas en cuenta, así que había que pasar por... había que tomar las ideas más coherentes, las ideas más racionales, por darle una explicación lógica. ¿Y lo segundo era?
Y hoy en día, ¿cómo se relacionan? ¿Se juntan? ¿Cómo es la relación de los 33 ahora en 2016?
Mira, sin querer serlo, nosotros los 33 pasamos a ser una familia, independientemente. Como toda familia, como todos los que estamos acá, todos tenemos familia. A veces hay pelea, obviamente, pero como pasamos a ser una familia, somos como un hermano. Somos hermanos los 33. Y independientemente que estemos enojados, igual los queremos y los unimos siempre. Estamos siempre en contacto y los llamamos y estamos en buena onda. Nunca peleamos, por decirlo en la realidad.
¿Y cómo ha cambiado hoy en día? ¿Cómo vives la experiencia? ¿Cómo ha cambiado usted?
Mira, a mí me hace muy bien hablar de esto con todas estas personas porque me saca un poco de todo esto que uno lleva, todo este peso que tú llevas en tu cabeza. Es bueno entregar esto como herramienta para, ni Dios lo quiera, algún día le ocurre algo así y queden atrapados. Pero eso me cambió la vida, para mejor. Disfruto más mi familia, como decía anteriormente, vivo el día a día, que es muy importante, sanamente, disfrutar las cosas simples. Eso.
Thank you.
Okay.